So you're playing a different psychological game when you're playing a team sport versus a solo sport. This is the most fascinating thing, like, about sports in general. Like, you obviously everybody knows when you're playing an individual sport, you're only playing against yourself, right? And that lack of a head-to-head opponent, like your head-to-head opponent is a score on the board. John scored a 9.8. I got to get a 9.81.
Yeah, so
you know, on my next
golf is one of these,
yeah,
as well, like a solo.
And like that is brutal. So it's a huge mental game more than the team game.
Okay, I was thinking about this. Did you guys see the Masters? The Masters.
Yeah, I actually watched it.
Okay,
it was
so
the weekend, so I
like
Bruce, my stepdad, had it on, and we
greatest Masters ever.
Greatest Masters ever.
Would you say
question
so?
Mark? Yeah. So we were at.
I mean, I was excited.
Well, we were at Amber's
It was
birthday,
good.
but I was watching it.
I definitely did not have the Masters on my phone.
I cannot believe he blew that putt, but I also called it. I made a bet like right there. I was like, he's going to miss that putt.
This goes to exactly what you're speaking about, where it's like when you're in a solo game, the whole thing is mental. You against
all he had to do
yourself.
was hit a 4-foot putt.
And like
Yeah,
leading
it's
up
so
to
easy.
that, he missed a few short ones leading up to that. He hit like
blew-
epic approach shot, missed the sitter. You know.
Yeah.
You also just had to like not make a double bogey on the first hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wild. No, it was good. And then of course the drama of going to the
I didn't watch any of the playoff.
What?
Well, that was the shot of the whole thing was, then he got within a foot of the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even see how he won.
That was almost a gimme, like the final putt. Like, yeah. Oh, it was amazing. I watched most of it. But yeah, it's a totally different game. And each come with their own sort of skill set psychologically that you gain. And I think those things are very transferable, is what I'm saying. Very transferable to a lot of things in life.
So how do you transfer the solo sports to sort of life? Because I'm very attuned to how the team sports transfer.
Well, the team sport has the same thing because at the end of the day, you are training solo, you are practicing solo. This is the Kobe mentality. It's like, just today watched this amazing video of Kobe talking about like that moment when you've committed to the plan and then you're committing to 2 hours of practice and you're like, I could cut out 2 minutes early. I'm tired. And he's like, in that moment, you have to catch yourself. And if you allow that and go, well, I'll do 2 minutes extra tomorrow, the moment you start making a fucking excuse, you're losing. Like it's over. You made the commitment, work the plan. That's it. And so the same thing exists in golf or tennis or swimming or any solo sport. It's a commitment to yourself. And so I think that it's all sports. The through line is sports. By the way, this applies. I can't think of one right now off the top of my head, but I think this applies to a lot of activities in life.
Business.
It's not just sports. Yeah, business, art, like writing, being a writer. Like I'm committing to sitting down and writing for 2 hours.
I like that.
So
Kobe also talked about falling in love with the process of improving.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever found in your personal life where you haven't, where the love has been a little harder and you have to sort of like force it? Like Kobe, it seemed like that Kobe had this like unique ability to like, I don't know, the USA Dream Team said they were coming back from like the club in Vegas at like 4 a.m. and they were going home. They were going to the hotel room and Kobe was leaving the hotel room to go to the gym. And I think it's because Kobe just loved it. He like loved that process.
No, I think that there's a element of masochism happening. It's not a love. It's a commitment.
So the love is sort of like in quotes. It's like you convince yourself sort of.
In that moment, they don't love it. In that moment, it's pure pain. It's pure misery.
It's still like a
devotion.
Yeah.
To the outcome,
like
to the game, to the
part
process.
of Kobe still says like, fuck, I don't want to go at 4 a.m. You think?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most inspiring athletes to me, I've been seeing his clips more lately, is Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady, when he gets in his mode of like getting intense and passionate about everything that created Tom Brady, this skinny guy that everyone slept on and was like, he's no good.
He's
like,
pretty fat when he got drafted. To be
what
honest.
he is,
Yeah, fluffy.
what he is, fluffy and tall.
He's a little thick.
What he has created is remarkable, and it was a commitment to like doing the hard work and working the process when he didn't want to. So I think that the people that there's a sickness to certain people like this, and that sickness is a devotion that is at all costs,
It's relentless.
with pain. It's relentless, and it's slightly masochistic because they believe rightly that the sacrifice that's necessary, that's it. That's the statement. The sacrifice is necessary to be the best. It's commitment to being the best.
The only tangible experience I have with it is Kyle's dad, who was a Hall of Fame baseball player. He's got a compulsion, he can't help it. It's like his tick that he's like, I have to.
Would you say that many of the greatest athletes exude, like they have that?
I think so.
This obsessive compulsive behavior.
It's like if you were to deny him the ability to go like work on it, he would just go crazy.
Yeah, and they're a little weird, right? They're a little like abnormal.
A little weird too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like still like cool, but just like
right. I mean, weird about their behavior.
Yeah.
Obsession with what they do, and I think that applies to painting, sculpting, and anything that is about the pursuit of greatness. Like, think about what greatness really means. Greatness is like you have to be 0.5% better. That's it.
Right.
Than everybody else. But that 0.5% is the hardest part of the entire journey. And so what does it take? It takes immense self-sacrifice and obsession to the point that most people are not willing to pay the price of relationships, price of health, price of mental stability at times. It can bring out the shadow.
I think I don't know. I think the problem with it can be that some people are willing to pay that price and just don't have the talent, and that's sort of depressing when you see it.
Yeah,
because like some people devote themselves to their endeavor and still don't make it. It's not like a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. And, there's always that conversation of like, is this person a genius? Were they born with it? Or is it a developed capability? And it's always both, right? It's always both. Like, I don't think Conor McGregor is special from like a perspective of like innate genius talent that he was born with. I think a lot of it is just pure work ethic and hustle that got him to where he was. And then he fell off, of course. But there's certain people. Okay, here's a deeper question that I don't think I can't recall if we've ever discussed. What do you think is more impressive, the athlete or the person in their craft? More general, the person in their craft who achieved greatness through work ethic, or the one that was born with genius? So like Mozart, Messi, I would put those guys in the category of like the genius. Like, don't get me wrong, they worked their asses off.
Yeah,
everybody still works.
maximize their talents.
Yes,
but their talents were immense.
But they had something.
I don't think Mozart maximized that much.
Yeah, I mean,
so his talent.
He stayed out late.
Drank.
He stayed out late drinking all night. It was like, oh shit, I have to write an entire opera. Fuck, and then just like wrote
so his
Don
talent,
Giovanni or some shit.
His talent was so immense that he became Mozart and even
he was 8 years old writing symphonies.
Underperformed his potential.
Perhaps.
I mean, who knows what his actual potential? I mean, who knows? Maybe he didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I guess that's Armand's point. Is like what's more impressive? Having that immense talent, is that more impressive?
No,
or?
what's impressive is what you output. I don't care about like how you got there. It's just what you output. Like
what you are impressed by as the perceiver.
I am impressed by your body of work, right? Like I'll give you like kudos points on the side, like if you were just not at all gifted and just grinded your way there, but like at the end, like I just care about greatness.
Oh well,
I love this discussion.
I love it too, and I have a wrench to throw in here. Like I think when you're talking about greatness, I agree with you. Like when we're comparing greats to greats, it's about output. But when we're talking about just like anybody, we don't care so much about the output. Like Coach John Wooden, he's like the most successful college basketball coach of all time, 11 championships at UCLA. He said in a TED Talk, he said, what is success? Success to me is what effort you put out to achieve your potential. He's like, I was a school teacher before I was a basketball coach. When I was a school teacher, I realized that there were kids who were C students who could only be C students. And when they got the C, I was so proud of them. And I knew there were kids that were potential A students who got a B, and that's a shame. And it's not better to get a B.
I wish I could visualize this. Exactly what you just described. There's a baseline of human potential and there's a baseline of genius and talent that's innate in certain people, and everyone's different, and you can't, like, it's completely different. And then there's the output of their potential window, and then there's the window of their potential, and then there's the action they take, which is the output of what they can achieve. And all of those things, and probably even other factors that I'm thinking of, create the level of how you perceive the individual. You know,
the John Wooden example is irrelevant to this discussion, because when you're talking about greatness, you are on the fat tail of the bell curve. Like, if you get a C, but like you should have gotten a D, like, that's great. I'm happy for you. But like, I'm not evaluating you. And
we're looking at the greatest of all time.
You're taking. I didn't even mean to talk about greatness necessarily. Yeah. I was just talking about, like,
it's just an anecdote.
Yeah.
So on this discussion of,
I didn't mean greatness. I mean, like, in evaluating. If you're evaluating, like, the output versus the potential, right? And I think that if you're talking about people who are like normal people, like in the middle of the bell curve, just like realizing their own potential, sure, there's like a nobility to that. But that's different than like evaluating
MJ versus
the top of the craft.
Agreed.
Right? That's a different metric.
So I have this thesis on this because this is something I've thought about a lot, and we're talking about a couple different things. So I want to go back to this one thing.
Yeah.
When you look at the greatest of their field of all time, you tend to have some people that lean more toward innate genius. That's what they had more of. And you have some people that lean more toward, like, this person killed themselves to become the greatest, okay? And here's how I think humanity evaluates it. Humanity greatly appreciates people of high work ethic that earned it, okay? So, I mean, there's so many examples we could pull out, right? And, you know, these people, because what they are is a model of success that shows you that genius is achievable.
Yeah.
And the book Mastery by Robert Greene is literally a masterpiece about that.
Showing you what genius looks like.
Yes. And at the same time, there are some people in the world that are blessed by God and were born with something that is so holy. And for these people, of course, they either waste it or they step into it, add a little work ethic to it, like Lionel Messi, and become the greatest of all time. But what I think humanity is more mesmerized by the genius that's born with it. And here's why. Because I think it's literally an embodiment of otherworldliness. I think when we see people that can do things that no one else can do, we're just beyond mesmerized by it. That's why when people have the Messi versus Ronaldo debate, every great pundit, every great journalist, every great athlete, every great captain of a team, every great whatever in soccer just says Messi has something otherworldly that has never existed before. I'm just watching art, poetry in motion. People are fascinated by that.
I agree. Can I throw a little bit of a curveball into this conversation?
Yeah.
Because I've had something in our Trello for 6 months that we've never discussed, but this is like a good time to talk about it. Tennis coach, like this was Serena Williams' tennis coach, Patrick Mouratoglou is his name. He said that
I follow that guy.
He's a good tennis coach, and he's like an influencer.
Mouratoglou?
Yeah, he's a Frenchman.
That was not at the top of my list.
Okay, so this guy said that there is a burden to immeasurable talent. And he says that he's coached the best. And what he's found is that the most talented kids often don't become the best pros. And the reason is because it's an identity problem. He said that when you are the best and the most talented, you grow up beating everybody, and you have this like thing that you build into your psyche that's like, I'm the best. And when you start competing in the pro level, you're naturally going to lose sometimes. But he says those guys who have this like identity problem of being so talented, they become afraid to lose on the big stage. You have this fear of failure versus a guy like Djokovic or something who was never like the most physically gifted, not the biggest, not the strongest, not the fastest, but a chip on his shoulder that's like, I'm going to fucking...
How is that possible? Have you seen this man? He's like a freaking specimen.
Well, he's a stick figure. He's like bendy. Bendy.
Hard for me to imagine this guy like just playing tennis against some random and being like, oh.
Well, I mean, we can look up like young photos
like
of Djokovic.
Nadal is like this athletic guy. You're saying, you know?
Yeah. So like a specimen would be like LeBron James.
Yeah.
And in tennis world, like
MJ. You know.
Yeah, like those guys, like the
Djokovic,
best.
like he's like 6'4", right?
No, he's like 6'2". I mean, which is taller than me, but that's not like an athletic specimen. He's not like jacked. He's not the fastest guy in the world.
Right.
He just is the most competitive.
Relentless.
He's the most competitive.
He has a sick psyche.
And it's like what you talked about earlier. But I like this idea of what Muratoglu was saying. He's like that the talent actually becomes what kills you. When you are the most talented, it's actually more likely that you're not going to become the best.
You know, Robert Greene talks about the dangers of early success. Absolute relevant corollary. Like it's bad to like have a huge lift or have an early success because your successes can lead you to misbelieving, to misinterpreting your actual value. It can lead to a form of like Dunning-Kruger. You know, you think you're better than you are, and your capacity is beyond what you are, and you think that because you did it once, you'll continue to do it. So like you end up blundering and wasting talent. You know Mario Balotelli.
Oh yeah.
Mario Balotelli is this soccer player, Italian guy, black guy, jacked, and physical specimen, and talented, so talented. One of the biggest wastes in the last 10 years in soccer. Huge waste. Still made the national team, still played for great teams, but terrible attitude, terrible work ethic, completely wasted everything.
Yeah, and I guess like this term of talent, it's like pretty vague, you know? Like,
yeah,
because like Steven mentioned, like, well, look, is Djokovic like not talented? Of course he's like, okay, so the fact that he can like run at full speed, stop on a dime at full splits of his legs, like, is that talent or is that training?
Yeah, because we have to also know that we're talking about differences at the end of a spectrum of the elite people in the world, right? So you're parsing out things. They all are obviously genius and hardworking.
Right. I guess I'm just thinking that if I were to design a specimen of pro athlete, it wouldn't be a 6'2" frail white dude. You know, frankly.
Well, before we move on from this amazing topic, who are the greatest athletes of all time? Not. I mean this from a sense of athleticism. We're the most athletic people that have ever.
You just asked two different questions.
Who's the greatest,
probably somebody who's like the decathlete in the Olympics.
I think that's like the best metric is like the decathlon.
I know, but I mean like.
But I do think that in like modern world, and particularly in like our US centric world, that the best athletes gravitate towards NBA and NFL.
Like NFL tight ends have to be like. There's like tight ends in the NFL who could just like step into the NBA and probably play. It's just crazy.
Well, I'm just gonna give my MJ. I think is like most athletic.
I think like
he's like less athletic than LeBron.
LeBron's
I would actually say no. I would say MJ's more athletic.
No, stop it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Eric, what do you think?
I think LeBron's probably the greatest.
LeBron's just a specimen.
The greatest raw athlete of all time. A raw athlete means size, speed, strength, combination.